10 more Remembrance bosses with their own weapon. No intro needed, here we go. The only guy we can really start with is Divine Beast Dancing Lion. I wanna die. See, when I did my first DLC playthrough, this fight took me nearly 3 hours, and that was with a Moon Veil. We don't get the privilege of using a good weapon though. In fact, we don't get the privilege of a weapon at all, because that's right boys and girls, the only things you get from his Remembrance are the Ash of War, Divine Beast Frost Stomp, and a Talisman, the Enraged Divine Beast. Now, the Ash of War isn't terrible. It's basically Hoarfrost Stomp from the base game but buffed a little bit, so that's fine. The real issue here is the Talisman that, and I quote, raises potency of storms. Now, I don't know about you, but I can't think of the last time I even touched a storm sorcery. Like, nah, I'm looking at the wiki right now, and it buffs literally 2 spells. I mean, come on FromSoft, give me something here, I swear. Anyways, yapping isn't going to kill the boss, so I'll do a rundown of the build. We're rocking a plus 25 club with Cold Infusion for our Ash of War, the random Talisman that won't do anything for us, and the Divine Beast head because it's drip and you can't convince me otherwise. Now, not 2 seconds into the fight, the big male genitalia beast did a gap closer, which I was able to dodge. From there, I tried to convert that into an attack, which didn't really work out. That was only a minor setback though, because my next 5 attacks did giga damage and I was able to transition to phase 2 with ease. Just kidding. See, I already had to use 4 of my Crimson Flasks, and that was in the easy part of the fight. That means we gotta lock in or I'm basically cooked. Now, he starts with lightning as always. I'm able to dodge this easily and get 2 successive attacks, which allows us to get Frostbite off. Yippee! He immediately follows this up with a little spin that knocks me off my feet. I knew the Dancing Lion had that effect on me. Anyways, he switched to wind powers, and in my opinion, this is the easiest element. His attacks are fairly simple to dodge, and there's a lot of open windows, meaning we can speedrun this with no hiccups at all. This gets us to ice, where we can finally watch him do the one attack we get to do. How epic. His is 100 times better than mine. This pretty much marks the end of the fight though, because he stands no chance against the Elden Ring god. Rellana, FromSoft, come on, be unique with the names, I'm disappointed in you. When it comes to weapons though, I'm not disappointed at all, because they went crazy with these. We got our Twin Blades, which in my opinion are one of the best weapons in the game, and Rellana's Twin Moons, which are like the moon sorceries from the base game, except they're actually possible to get off. Now, this is personally one of my favorite fights from the DLC, so I'm really excited to learn the moves, and not just mimic tier cheat my way through this. I immediately tried to open with the sorcery, and yeah, that kinda sucks. We can rebound though, and start spamming jump attacks until poise break. No, she's whipping out her giant sword. My bad. I figured it was a good time to try the spell again, and this time we got all projectiles off for some pretty decent damage. This got us directly to the knockoff Pontiff phase, where I just narrowly missed her fire pillars. From there, I ran in and got some quick and dirty jump attacks off, which let us get our second poise break. Now, up until this point, I was desperately hoping I could get the kill off without her doing the moon attack, but my luck apparently ran out because that's what she did immediately after whipping it out a second time. Now, these big moons normally pack a punch, but I just recently learned that jumping is something you're supposed to use too, so that made dodging these a breeze. This is pretty much wraps for Walmart Pontiff, so let's move on to the elephant in the room. Commander Gaius. Now, I need to explain my experience with this guy, because this was an absolute nightmare for me to fight. I'm not exaggerating, I spent 5 hours banging my head against the wall, literally wanting to die, because what I went through here was worse than death. Okay, I'm exaggerating, point is, it sucked. In those 5 hours though, I was able to learn every little bit about this boss. I'm like, let me solo her if he was a pubescent teenager who had acne breakouts every 3 days. Sorry, that got kinda real there for a second. Anyways, let's go take a look at our weapons. Now, his primary lance is pretty cool because it can be infused with different Ashes of War instead of just one set thing. I didn't find out about this until after the fight though, so all we have is Impaling Thrust. Our second item is the Blades of Stone spell, which we won't really use much due to its absurdly long cast time. We start the fight off with the cleanest dodge you've ever seen and convert that into 5 jump attacks. It takes 5 for poise break. After that, he transitions to phase 2 where he shoots up faster than me looking at Moog. He does this big gravity slam after that, which lets us get the sorcery off. Ouch. Next, he tries to hit us with a ground pound, which we dodge for more easy hits and a poise break. I even violate him one more time while he's still getting off the ground. The big man didn't seem to like that though, and he hit me with a combo I can never dodge, or at least that's what I thought, because somehow I dodged almost every hit. The outer gods were on my side today, huh? That was pretty much the end of bro. He's like some celebrity trying to make a comeback in the worst way possible because he didn't really stand a chance. Good old Fireboy, my favorite. Kidding. This guy single-handedly caused like a lot of streamers to rage, bro. I know you've seen those compilations.
Love it, man.
Luckily for me though, we get to use objectively one of the best weapons in the game, Spear of the Impaler. Only problem, it's mostly fire damage. For 99% of bosses this wouldn't be a problem, but Messmer's a different beast entirely because he tanks 40% of that. But hey, maybe our next weapon won't be as bad. Nope, it's a fire nuke. Anyways, we have to fight this guy, so I'll stop procrastinating and actually show off the battle. He always opens with the explosions, which are pretty easy to dodge. This allows us to get an attack off and roll away as fast as humanly possible. From there, he opens himself up again, but I fumble hard because my character decided to jump backwards and hit the floor. This is going to be a trend you'll notice a lot. Anyways, we're able to dodge his multi-spear AoE and get a clean transition to phase 2. This is where we have the longest window of opportunity, which makes it the perfect time to try out the fire orb. This immediately got stagger off and allowed us to do some pretty decent damage. We're now literally halfway through based Serpent Messmer and we didn't even have to do anything. The only attack I'm scared of now is his grab, which we thankfully dodge and punish hard. This fight went surprisingly better than I thought. Sure, I have 30 minutes of footage, but hey, at least I didn't break my controller or something crazy like that. I've been a little bored lately, so I decided to Google frenzied lords in my area, and there just so happened to be one nearby. His name is Midra, and he's 84 years old. I pulled up to the crib with the Greatsword of Damnation, which is a greatsword, and Midra's Flame of Frenzy, which is a huge AoE incantation. Now, when I walked into the boss arena, he just randomly said, "The depths of your foolishness." I don't get what he meant by that, but it made me mad, so I decided to beat the elderly man to the floor. That was a bad move. Apparently he was a lot stronger than I thought, because he stood up and he was way taller than me. I guess that's not really that hard to beat. Anyways, he opened with a frenzied burst, so I dodged that and hit him with the exact same thing. Beautiful damage, I know. From there, I rolled through like 30 swings and got attacks off where I could. After literally 4 jump hits, he was poise broken, we were able to stick it right through him. I tried to follow this up with the Ash of War, but apparently the second part of that only works on certain enemies because it didn't do crap to him. We bounced back though, and before long we had yet another stagger. No joke, this sword moves so fast, like to the point where I thought I had a speed modifier on my game or something. Anyways, it was a pretty smooth phase 2 transition, though I didn't clear out of the area for his nuke in time, so I had to tank it. From there, I tried my best to get hits in, but Big Papa had other plans for me, and he stuck it straight through my head. I finally had my footing though, so I locked in and got hella jump attacks off. Things were seeming alright, but that's when I got stuck in a healing loop and lost about 4 flasks, so I decided to get aggressive and straight up hug that guy, and while that was an incredibly dangerous move, it worked wonders and got us back on even ground. Surprisingly, some of his swings just flat out missed too if you're right in his grill, so I just banked on that until I killed him. Since we're in the general area, I feel like Scadutree Avatar is going to be a solid next choice. I don't really have anything to say about this overgrown sunflower besides the fact that he kind of looks like a specific body part when you see him for the first time. Or maybe I'm just brain rotted, who knows. Anyway, we get the usual weapon and spell, Shadow Sunflower Blossom, which I wholeheartedly believe is one of, if not the biggest item in the game, and Land of Shadow, which is an incantation that fires a lot of tiny darts. These are both incredibly good items, so this should be a breeze. Yep. Easy peasy. Anyways, I start by dodging his ranged attack, then using an incantation for some easy damage. Then I close the gap for the biggest unga bunga you've ever seen. Phase 2, here I come. He immediately opens with the Mario Kart attack, which I dodge and counter. From there, he tries to lunge at me, but misses and gets a face full of pollen. I just rinsed and repeated this strategy for all of phase 2, which brought me to the exact same thing for the 3rd time. God, FromSoft really outdid themselves with this one. Now, I don't really have much else to show here besides this little thing that happened to me right at the end of the fight. Yeah, I thought it was Jover there for a second. Anyways, the only thing I really enjoyed about this little battle was the satisfying chunks out of the health bar. Other than that, it got really annoying really quick. Good old mother of fingers. Oh my god, the jokes I could be making right now. Anyways, Walmart Rom the Spider was apparently more challenging than she was on my first playthrough. The 58 minutes I have of footage should explain for itself. It's not even like she's that tanky or anything, she just does the most absurd damage known to man. Luckily for us though, that translates into her weapons quite nicely. We got Gazing Finger, which is another colossal weapon, and Staff of the Great Beyond, which would be really cool if we actually had some sorceries. I'll still try to get a hit in with it though, trust. Anyways, we start this off by dodging the beam and getting an easy hit in. From there, we roll through her combo and do another jump attack. I just realized this whole video has been basically me spamming jump attacks. Oh well, gotta get ad revenue somehow. At this point, we're just one more hit away from poise break, but I got a little too greedy and messed up. See what I mean about the damage? That was just a small setback though, because I got it in shortly after and already had an easy phase 2 transition. Here's the hit I did with the staff just to prove I did it. Anyways, after that, I got yet another poise break in and had her down good. This is usually where I start fumbling though, and this boss was no different. I got hit by her beam, exploding balls, and a big laser. I'm pretty sure those were her last ditch efforts though, because she didn't even really try at the end. What a loser. Dark Souls had Quelaag, Dark Souls 2 had Najka, but you know what Elden Ring's missing? Another woman with the legs of a bug. Or at least that's what I said before Shadow of the Erdtree came out, because thank the Lord above, FromSoft brought the tradition back. I had sleepless nights thinking they ditched this iconic design, but 2 long years later, we finally have it back. My life is complete. I will die a happy man. Okay, there's no way those words just came out of my mouth. My internet footprint's screwed, isn't it? Weapon-wise, we have Pole Blade of the Bud, which is a good Scarlet Rot Inflictor, and Rotten Butterflies, which is the most useless sorcery that exists. Great combo. All jokes aside, this is an easy fight, so I'll try to go through it fast. I start by running in and ripping her to shreds. From there, she does a little spin and hits me with her tail. I rebound though and get a clean jump hit in that I then convert into a butterfly attack. This lets me get a stagger off, which brings us head first into phase 2, where I desperately run to her corner and try to avoid the butterflies. God, it's really all over the screen, isn't it? Anyways, in phase 2, I dodge a few more bugs, do some more jump hits, and I'm done. My bad for not showcasing the fight more, but it's really boring. I use the same strategy as the last 4 guys, so yeah, moving on. Chat, we have 2 bosses left now. You better not click off or you suck. Anyways, next is Putrescent Knight, and for once, both the things you get are pretty good. The Cleaver can deal big damage quickly, and the Vortex of Putrescence finally doesn't have a cast time that I can make a sandwich in. Good stuff. Anyways, we kick things off by dodging his horse combo and getting a little spell in. Then from there I hit him 2 more times while he's getting on his steed for a whopping 1802 damage. That's the cool thing with this spell. It has 2 attacks, one from the outside and one on the inside, which means you can line it up just right for some insane combos. I was only able to do this once on my final attempt, so I can't really show too much of it, but trust, it goes hard. Anyways, next up was phase 2, so we have to drop the sorcery and move to the bug sword. Now, before we can get any hits in, we gotta get through the blue fire spam, which is easy to dodge. All you gotta do is jump. From there, we rush in and hit him with the cleaver for some massive damage that's literally putting the testosterone levels in my body to shame. Okay, that was a lie, but you still get it. Anyways, after that, I dodged his sword smash and pretty much end him right there. Easy kill, bro needs to try harder next time. Alright ganglicious, we're here at the end. Old Radalester himself. Old Mr. White Van Man. This boss has some very unique weapons, and while what they did wasn't exactly the most practical approach, it's still pretty cool. See, you have the Great Sword of Light and Lord. They're both the same thing, but each has its own Ash of War. This is cool when you can spawn them in with a mod menu, but not as cool when you have to beat this dude twice just to dual wield them. On top of that, you have the Light of Miquella incantation, which is basically a big explosion that requires 72 faith to use. Oh, I forgot to mention, I've been limiting myself to level 180 this whole run and respeccing for each boss respectively. Anyways, he starts with the old gravity slam, which lets us get the Miquella light off, though we kinda had to trade blows because this guy attacks way too fast. Either way, that's the most damage I've ever done to Radahn, so I'll take it. From here, it's a battle of patience because we can only get 1 little hit in every 8 swing combo. Slow but steady wins the race though, and before I knew it, we were at phase 2. Now, we immediately have to try to dodge the big explosion, but I messed up. Got too distracted looking at Miquella for real. Anyways, his attacks are almost identical, but we have the frail dude shooting pea streams down at us. Not really too much to note here, but I'm really proud of how good I've got at dodging his meteor shooting thingy. Dad, please love me. Just kidding, we stream over at School in the Classics and have grand old times. Anyways, a few jump attacks later, and bro was down, Moog's name was cleared, and Miquella was saved. This is the part where watch time usually falls off, but I just want to give a quick thanks to all 3,855 people who subscribe to my stupid videos. It means the world to me, I swear. Like, you guys are the reason I'm able to keep doing this and not get demotivated. Anyways, I'm buying cat ear headphones at 10K. Okay. Bye!